The views and opinions of this video and comments to this channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of this channel's broadcaster. If you have a complaint about something or find the content is being used incorrectly, please don't contact the broadcaster. This is Balaclava Diaries. We're toxic, we're talking aggressive. If you don't like it, send a message. We're weed stimulated, educated, top rated, and never baited. I am Mr. T. No, I'm joking. I'm OG MacG, and I'm here with Mr. Let's Party.
You know I'm here. Shout out to the Strains Limited. You know what I mean?
Let's give them a vibes, you know, whatever.
Big up on the T.
Okay. But at the end of the day, today we have, wow, like a history, like real history of this city, you know? And I think the goal is to let people know that, you know, especially if you're black in Toronto, that there's a history that, you know, spans beyond even, you know, Cardinal Official and so on and so forth. There's more in this entertainment business than just, you know, the hip hop of this city and, you know, Drake. At the end of the day, there's been, you know, Mohicans that have gone through the fires of, you know, whether it be, you know, systemic racism or, you know, just not being appreciated as a person of color in this country, that really took those steps to make sure that we even had an opportunity to step forward. And this guy is one of those guys, you know? He's done TV, he's done stand-up, he's all over online. He even brought my boy, what's the Trini man's name?
Junior Lee.
Yeah, he even brought Junior Lee to Toronto to try rent a little unit, and it was $1,500 for our closet, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, this guy's he's a comedian, he's a legend in the city. Let's give it up for John Paul.
Bam, 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 bam.
Don't know.
Appreciate you, man.
So yeah, man. We just want to kind of go over a little bit of the history, you know, like, were you born in Toronto? Were you
Born in Trinidad and Tobago, born in my grandmother's house in Sangre Grande to an actual midwife.
Wow, okay.
Okay, shit.
Navel string berry in the backyard. Okay. Real talk. I'm not even kidding.
Okay, that's crazy. All right.
That house still stands, actually. Quarter Mile Toko Road.
Okay.
Wow,
Big up
crazy.
yourself.
And, you know, when did you venture towards North America?
So my parents moved here like in the early 70s, like 72, 73. So I would have been like 3 years old when we moved up to Toronto. And we moved into Flemington Park, you know, shout out East Park. And pretty much my formative years were still in Flemington Park. I went to John 23rd, you know, because my parents didn't want me going to public school, so they didn't send me to Gateway or Grenoble, so they sent me to a Catholic school because, you know,
Caribbean parents, it's
you know,
religion.
Island people, you know what I mean? You had to be an acolyte.
They see lean on me, yo. They see lean on me, and they're like, hell fucking nah, yo.
So yeah, man.
I'm Morgan Freeman out this bitch. You ain't going to that school.
Grew up in Flemington, and then we eventually moved back to Trinidad when I was like 9, and then I went to school in Trinidad, wrote Common Entrance, passed for QRC, Queens Royal College, and then we ended up moving back again when I was like 13, 14, and then yeah, man, been here ever since. You know what I mean? So,
what was the life like back then for a Trini man in Toronto?
pretty much non-existent in the sense where Trinis are very proud people, but everybody predominantly knew, especially in the 70s, 80s, everybody knew fucking Jamaicans. Like every fucking buddy. You know what I mean? Because real talk, I don't give a shit what anybody says. Like late 80s, early 90s dance hall ran fucking things. Like
It's true.
Gunman and Pum Pum tunes ran every fucking thing. You know what I mean? So, but then we were talking about this earlier.
Right.
Everything, and again, Calypso and Kaiso. You know, I mean, Trinis are very proud about their culture and their Kaiso and their Calypso. But I feel like everything changed when Marshall Montano came on the scene, and I'm talking about like post Too Young to Soca when he dropped the album Big Truck.
Right.
You know, hold on to the big truck, hold on to the big truck. You know what I mean? And then it's almost like he made Soca and Kaiso cool for you to be able to say, yeah, I'm from Trinidad, man. You know what I mean? And then I think
So
everything
you're
changed
like
from
saying
then.
until that time it was just dance hall, dance hall, dance hall.
Dance hall, hip hop, I was a big hip hop head.
Right.
You know, and house music was big back then too. You know what I mean? As far as that shit goes, but hip hop was always a big thing for me because I remember being in New York and hearing for the first time, and again, I don't give a fuck if I date myself, but Planet Rock. And then after Planet Rock was Eric B. and Rakim and all that, you know what I mean? So
Legends.
Super legends.
So I fell in love with hip hop because again, I found that it fucking spoke to me and we had it here too. Like again, I don't know how old you guys are. I ain't trying to ask. Me no ask no fucking man.
No,
they
just
fucking
teach
age
us the
and
time, man. We don't
Teach
care,
us, bro.
man. You
But-
prefacing too much. Just do it.
So college radio, 88.1. There was a show.
Ron Nelson.
Ron Nelson.
Yeah,
I was glued to that shit, and I was also glued to DJ Red Alert, and that's where I would get all my hip hop from. And again, the beautiful part about Caribbean culture is reggae again permeated the
It
hip
didn't
hop.
permeate it. It made it.
Yes, it made it. So it was
Yeah.
also made
Jamaican
hip hop,
man
and
that
it blended it,
created
and then
hip-hop. Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So there was I always felt an affinity and a connection to hip hop as well as soca and kaiso and reggae and dancehall and canchas and ting and ting and ting.
So when did you realize you were funny?
I knew I was funny probably since I was about 4 or 5 years old because I knew
5 years old.
I knew I could make grown people laugh. And like uncles and aunts were like, this boy real fucking stupid, you know, you real kicks, man. And again, this was at like 4 or 5. And then I realized, but I've always had a great sense of timing, like always. And then I used to study from early, I was into comedy. Like my you know, before the rape thing down, you know, Bill Cosby, the George Carlins, the Richard Pryors, men like Steve Martin. You know what I mean? So I was always into comedy growing up, and then I discovered Eddie Murphy, and that was
Changed
so
the game.
Eddie Murphy is to me in comedy is like Marshall was to soca. Everything changed after that. Everything changed, and so at 12 I was
So
like,
what would
fuck
you
it.
say was the difference between like the Steve Martin and then when Eddie hit the scene? Was it just like a
Connected-
change of era? Or like,
Change of era, and I felt like I understood because that's how we talked. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
those men grew up in the 60s and the 70s, you know what I mean? And they talked like my parents, and while they were funny, Eddie was like, ice cream! Ice cream! You know, and shit like that, and you know what I mean? And then seeing him on Saturday Night Live back in the day, I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to be that fucking dude. And
So like as a Caribbean man, like, you know, you're growing up, you're seeing all these things, you know, so you love comedy. How do you tell your parents, yo, mom, like, you know, you said you passed your exam, you know, you went to Trinidad, they took you, passed your C6
let me-
exam.
so
now
here's
you're
the
like,
funny
yeah.
thing. So I'll give you a couple stories.
All right, let me hear a couple.
So when I did, and not in any sequential order, when I decided I was going to do comedy full time at around 19.
Oh, Jesus, this is early. I thought you just said 20
19
ad.
in a
that was-
in a
Yeah.
Trini house?
When I decided at
Holy.
19, my dad and I didn't speak for 2 years. Sorry, my dad didn't speak to me for 2 years. And then what broke all of that was my mom couldn't take it anymore because I'm an only child. And then she was like, nah, well, you had to fucking done this, son. No, they need to fucking make
Chat.
this up. And what changed my dad's whole thing on buying into my comedy was my cousin got married and they asked me to MC the wedding. And again, I've never MC'd a wedding before, so I did it like I was doing a stand-up show and fucking tore the reception apart. And then in true West Indian, Caribbean old man thing, my dad caught me at the bar later and then he's like, come take a drink.
No, sorry, I fucked up. No spot for one drinks.
Yo, funny still.
And then we took the drink, and then again, this was the last thing he said to me. And, I mean, started talking after that, and then he was like, yeah, some talent. And then that was it, and that was the blessing that I needed. I was like, all right,
All right,
let's
you're
fucking
gone.
do
You're
this.
gone. No, you're all this
Jordan after
world.
that.
Yeah, but the funny part, one of my favorite stories is speaking of Eddie Murphy. I had a cassette of like his first album. Like I can't.
Raw?
No, his
No,
first
before
album.
Raw.
Delirious.
He's no man. He's wearing a flower in his fucking
Wow,
thing. Yeah,
this is
this
deep.
is old thing.
Okay,
so
okay.
so growing up in Flemington, we lived in 100 Leeward in Glenway, like the apartment building. So they had like the radiator, like the vent that stretched across the whole apartment, right?
The baseboard thing. Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
I'm listening to Eddie Murphy. My dad hears it, kicks open my door, and he's like, because motherfucking shit, motherfucking. And my dad, you can't listen to these you're too young to fucking be listening to this kind of thing. And he confiscated my cassette tape, and I was like, fuck. And this is like Eddie was my idol, still is. And again, because of the baseboard. 45 minutes later, I hear this nigga listening to this cassette tape, killing himself in the next room, and I'm vexed, right?
Yo, this guy just pulled that on you so he could take it. He didn't want to show you that he wanted to
But
take
he didn't know who Eddie Murphy was at the time.
Oh,
and then
really?
after he listened to the fucking cassette tape, got a knock on the door, and he's like, yeah, you can have it back. And he gave it back to me. Yeah.
Your dad probably listened like, yo, it's kind of funny.
So
Yo,
is
let's
it-
come
okay.
here.
Because my
And
dad and them, they grew up on Richard Pryor.
Yeah, that takes me to my next question. Like, growing up in the Trini like culture and a Trini household, like, is that where a majority of your like comedic prowess started or came from? Like, do you think you look at things differently as a Trinidadian than
The
rest
average
of the world? 'Cause
person,
I
like-
think there's a lot of funny Trinis. Like
I think
my
both.
virgins,
Yeah. I think the beauty of Trini is everybody in Trinidad is always kind of happy, and everybody in Trinidad feels they're funny. You know what I mean?
Right.
And which is funny because even sometimes they don't like real Trinis who don't think I'm funny. Be like, that man not even that fucking funny. I sure I funnier than that fucking man. Like, I could fucking tell them jokes. Yeah, I have one for you. Come. And they always have a thing for you. But Trinidad and Tobago is probably one of the happiest islands. You know what I mean? And we own the happiness. Whereas, and I'm not saying Jamaicans aren't happy, but
No, they're
Jamaicans,
not. They're not.
Jamaicans are serious. They're
No,
too
I'm gonna stop you
serious.
right
they
there.
pride themselves on being bad and
Yeah.
everything offered me bad.
Yeah, we're not happy
Me not
at all.
skin teeth. You know? Like I always say, the worst job in Jamaica must be a dentist because nobody fucking skins teeth. You can't check my blood clot teeth. Me not
We may have smile for.
Why?
Can't open my mouth to man. You know what I mean? You know
not
what
big
I
enough,
mean?
right?
One for that. One
Yeah,
for that.
fire for
You want me to
that.
show my teeth? Why?
Yeah. Fire for Colgate.
Bad man, no brush teeth.
But yeah, no, I definitely think being Trini definitely is part of a major reason where I get my sense of humor. And then having the beauty of growing up in Toronto and having access to other things as well, like cable TV. Because in Trinidad, when I was growing up as a kid, there was two fucking channels. And all you could really catch on that is fucking Sesame Street, Love Boat, I mean, that kind of shit.
I want Popeye.
And it's the
TV
same
would
5
sign
episodes.
off. And the TV would fucking sign off at like 10 o'clock. The anthem would come on. Bam, ba, 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 ba. And then after that is
Yo,
until morning.
word, That's
But
funny.
when we moved to Toronto, I had access to everything, like all sorts of shows, like
The late night
SCTV
blues
and
movies.
Bazaar and City Pulse and Italian movies at fucking Saturday night at 11, where you get to see a little fucking tututs.
Telebundos
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah. Red Shoe Diary, you get to see a little breast thing, you know what I mean? Even when you had Super Channel back in the day and it was all scrambled, it's like, I think that's a titty. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, when it was like inverted color, you watch like the scramble thing.
I think that's Bush, gang. I think that's Bush.
That's crazy. And sometimes like they would fuck with you. These cable channels, the pay-per-views, they'd fuck with you. They'd put the pay-per-view channels on for like a week and a half.
Yes.
Get you hyped,
Get you addicted.
and it's gone. You're
First-
like, oh,
Come
I
home
can't
from
watch it.
come home like, yo, man.
Oh,
Come on, man.
I'm not gonna find out what happened to Kelly and Zach.
Come on, man. I need that, man.
This is like 6-year-old me. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
that's
that's
like
what it
that's funny, yo. That's funny. Man, you taking it way back. This is real history lessons and shit.
So you talk about Toronto and your different experiences here. Obviously, you've worked with a legend in the city by the name of Kenny Robinson.
Kenny Robinson, man.
You know what I mean? What is it? What does he mean to your career?
Everything. Without Kenny, I don't exist. Real talk. Kenny
Can't
is,
say that, fam. For real?
yeah, without Kenny, I don't exist.
Why, man?
I wouldn't exist the way that so the avenues that I would have had to have gone through without Kenny, creating the All Black Comedy Nubian Disciples of Pryor, which, by the way, celebrates its 30th anniversary, April 2025.
Mad.
Yes, correct. I would have had to have gone the mainstream comedy way, and potentially would have had to have been, so anyone here like airplane food? Like I might have, you know what I mean? But what Kenny did for us was give us, as people like to call it, a safe space or a safe room. Gave us our own fucking room
have
so
to
that we
act
could
like
have our own
Carlton. You
voice.
weren't Carlton.
Correct.
Right.
So we got to be exactly who we wanted to be and find our actual voice. I could be as Trini as I wanted to be, as Toronto as I wanted to be, as Scarborough as I wanted to be, as black as I wanted to be. And
What kind of Trini do you define yourself as? Because you know that's a big thing within the. I don't mean to do no colorism or anything like that, but like you know what I mean. Like, there's cultures within.
I'm
the
a proud Dougla.
Okay.
I'm a proud Dougla. And that's one of my mottos. Doughlarize the world, man. Just fucking bull everything you could fucking bull. You know what I mean? So Doughlarize the world. Doughlarize the world.
Yo, this guy's different. I don't even think you're taking that in. Like,
No, I took it in. This guy's just saying, you know what I mean? Let's mix up the world.
No, dude.
You know? Spread his seed across the land.
Yo, dog, yo, the world, yo,
Doughlarize the world, guy. Doughlarize.
You're happy just walking around the fence like.
Yo.
Hair all knotted up.
So, why do you think comedians nowadays are so scared? Like, why isn't there more Corey Holcombs? Why isn't there more,
Corey
John
Holcomb?
Pauls?
You know why?
isn't
Because
there-
people
'cause
are
you're
worried about
set. You have to laugh. See? You're set. You
raw.
don't give a fuck.
Yo,
you're
you heard his
danger.
inspiration. You heard his inspiration, so it makes complete sense.
Yeah. Eddie was that way too.
But the other thing too is a younger comic asked me what advice I would have given to myself back in the day, and what advice I would give to younger comics now. And I still to this day say, validate yourself, because what ends up happening is in the beginning, your why is. This is why I do it. I do it for the love. I do it for the creativity. I do it because it's one thing for sure, for certain, that I know I'm good at. The same way Jordan knew he could fucking dunk on a man and fucking, hit, get you that one quick step and he's gone through. He knew that's what he can do. As far as comedy goes, I know deep down that is what makes me unique and makes me happy and makes me proud and keeps me fucking grounded and spiritual. Like I know
what
it
is
comes
it
from
about
somewhere.
the laughs, bro? What is it? What is it about the laughs?
It's immediate. It's immediate, and dare I say, if you can, and again, I'm only talking from a guy's perspective.
Right.
But if you can make a girl laugh,
Hey, pussy.
you're
You're involved. You're involved. No, you're involved.
a laugh is like
Honestly,
a verbal orgasm.
You're
I'm telling
involved.
you right
Like,
now, I'm telling you right now, I've
verbal
seen
orgasm.
the ugliest men break down the sweetest girl.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're leaving
Yeah.
before the slow jams can come on, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
cracking
Like, I've
jokes.
seen this a million
They're just all
times.
they're
women-
online stealing John
Because
Paul's
women
jokes,
like to
bro.
talk. So after you fuck, you know what I mean? It's not, guys are good to, oh God, she's still here.
What can I do to get her out?
Whereas girls are like, want to cuddle up and, so, what do you want to do? You want to go to brunch? And it's like, but comedians like to talk. If I can keep you laughing, I can keep you talking. And if I can keep you talking, I
You're
can
gonna
keep
be
you
happy.
fucking.
Yeah.
And if I can keep you fucking,
You hearing this, young guys? You're scared to talk to the ladies nowadays. You want to go on Tinder and swipe, but
correct.
you know what I'm saying?
That's
Nah, you don't need
Tell
to do
her a
that.
little joke and,
Go on in John Paul's Instagram, give him a couple of likes, steal a couple sets, write them right
Definitely
down.
don't do that. My life is a lot different than it used to be. I'm what you call a domesticated fuckboy. That's what I am. I am a domesticated fuckboy for sure, and happy and proud
Isn't that
of
the
it.
goal?
Yes, it really is though. You don't think it is, but it truly is. It really, really is.
Talk to the young youth about being a
There's-
domesticated one,
Dude,
man.
there is nothing like having a home and a woman to come home to, dude. There is nothing like it. Like to be on the road and to walk home and to know that your bed isn't just physically warm because you have the thermostat up. It's warm because the love and the energy that you have. You know what I mean? Like guys always
Just feel
feel
those endorphins release,
trust,
you know? Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
Feel the soft skin
Tension,
upon you.
everything.
And to have a girl that fucking has the duvet laid out, and there's proper throw
She
pillows,
lives in the home sense. She
and
lives
there's
in the home
fucking
sense.
little vanilla candles on this side, and a little friggin' like what those girls like what do they call it? Not kerchiefs, but what do the girls wear?
With the
Like
head
scarf.
tie?
They have the little scarf over the lamp, so it creates a
Oh,
little
shit.
fucking mood
Wow,
and shit. You know what I mean?
wow.
So yeah,
This
it's nice to
guy-
it's nice to come to a home and not just
I don't
go
think
to a
they're doing all
house.
that nowadays. I'm gonna keep it real.
But again, see, I would know. I'm a
Matt, yo, you heard his life. You heard Matt's life.
Yo,
Matt's going
I
home to a
would've sealed
nice
up- I
bedroom.
would've sealed up from the second one. This
Like-
guy went to 6, 7.
I didn't even know about these other ones.
I'm
The
domesticated.
throw pillows. From throw pillows, I would be like, I'm involved.
What's a throw pillow?
Yeah, like scarf over the lap. Like,
What is that?
This girl made up her own dimmer and shit. Like, damn, man.
The ghetto
That's
dimmer.
crazy, bro. So, comedy, man. Like,
So hang on. Let me go back.
Why are
Speaking
they
of-
scared?
let
Why
me-
are they scared?
Comics are scared now because there's so many gatekeepers, and what they don't want to do is get left out of that gate. For me, I validate myself, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like they have the fucking power to dictate what my trajectory is going to be. And what my trajectory is, you could say, hey, how come you're not like Kevin Hart, or how come you're not like thing? It's like, nigga, you're not even the best at the job you fucking do. Why the fuck do I have to be Kevin Hart? But I'm doing what I've always wanted to do since I was 12. You're doing what you have to do to pay fucking bills. So don't ever fucking talk to me about
It brings
them
me
things.
to a even higher level from that subject. Is why are people so enamored by censorship nowadays? Like, what is it about censorship that makes it the in thing as opposed to
Because
just,
that's how brainwashing works. That's how cults work. Like it's become normalized, and when you normalize something, you ever hear of Stockholm syndrome?
for sure?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So you fall in love with the person who fucking kidnapped you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what a lot of people are. They're in a censorship Stockholm syndrome because it's if everyone else is doing it, then I don't want to be
Follow
different.
Batty, man. I don't like,
Like even
it.
the
said that
words,
earlier,
even the
yo.
words they use. I don't like being a follower on someone's page. I don't like you know what I mean? Like they have all these fucking words to make it okay to be a follower.
I feel like now, like individuality it's gone.
dead.
It's
It's
dead.
dead.
Like if you're not following, like it's just like if whatever's hot, if you're not doing it, it's bad. It's like it's okay not to be into every single thing in this
Always.
world. Like
Always.
do your own thing, follow your own lane. Like I
Correct.
feel like that's dead now.
It's dead. It's completely dead. And it's been dead for a while. And it's sad to see, which is why I like comedy, because comedy allows me to just express like there are literally times where walking to the stage, I'll see something or something happens or something pops into my head. I'm gonna fucking say it. What's the worst that can happen? You
I'm
don't
gonna ask you
laugh.
a crazy question. What is the worst hardship that you turned into your best joke?
The worst hardship that I turned into, getting booed. Getting booed in front of a few thousand people in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, that's a rough boo because those boos are not different.
If you don't
They're
get the
cursing you out at the same
Caribbean
time.
crowd, you're done, bro.
Here's the crazy part. They don't even really boo you in Trinidad. They clap you off.
Oh,
So it's
that's
not-
even worse.
it's
That's a
not-
knee.
it's not-
Yeah, right, buddy.
No, it's not it's the whole crowd slowly and rhythmically claps. It's not a, okay, buddy, it's the whole crowd just
Like clap, clap, clap. Oh no!
like I'm
Slow
about
clap you
like,
off
like I'm
the
about
stage?
like I'm about to do fucking long jump.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And you flipped that?
I flipped it and I realized that it didn't kill me. And thank God that it happened early in my career, because you figure, how am I coming back from this? And all it was like, all right, cool, I'm not dead. I'm still funny.
So how'd you flip it, man?
How'd you flip it on him? Like,
So I flipped it on, so we had to do the show the next night. And again, you know, everybody, you show up to the fucking venue. And again, Trinidad's a small place.
So everybody
Everybody
talking, John
heard
Paul,
about
that
you
boy there.
already.
So Trinidad was social media before social media fucking
shit.
existed. You know what I mean? So, and everybody acts like you have some kind of fucking like infectious disease. And then you come back, I owned it. I flipped it, made fun of myself, and realized that, hey, this is my name, taking himself seriously. Cool, here we are to say now. And then just moved on from there, man. And I think that's what changed my perspective going forward in comedy, is like, it's just one night, man. It's just one night.
Okay.
It's just one night. So and again, whoever goes undefeated in anything that they ever.
Yeah, no one's ever had a perfect season.
Eddie Murphy did do what? Vampire in Brooklyn? Worst movie I ever seen
Yeah,
in my
that.
life.
Eddie Murphy has a lot of bad movies.
He has a lot of shitty movies.
A lot of shit movies. He's got like a lot of
Eddie
shit.
Murphy fan got a lot of shitty movies, but even the shit ones I like. Like Golden Child is fucking.
No, I don't like
Golden
that
Child
one.
is a shit
That was a
movie,
terrible movie.
but I love Golden Child. It's horrible, but I love it.
That's a clip. That's a clip for Instagram. We love Golden Child. That's terrible, yo. When the lady turns into the serpent.
That's what I'm saying. It's a bad movie.
Where you from? Come on, man.
That was a bad movie, but I want to talk about, like, you know how we're seeing like a lot of people like write skits now on like social media and stuff like that, which has kind of brought a lot of people away from stand-up. What do you think the difference is from stand-up, writing for stand-up, and writing for a comedic sketch on like social media and stuff like that?
I think it's just a natural. It's a natural progression of what comedy is. Like in the beginning, like I remember when people started doing like becoming like social media fucking comedians and shit like that. And
Yeah.
like, and comedians were like, that's not real comedy. It's stand up is standing up in front of but what you really need to do is embrace all of that. Because if you don't evolve, then you like
You're
the
left
dinosaurs,
behind.
you're fucking dead off.
Yeah, you're left
I mean? So that's how disruption fucking works. Yeah, I mean, did anyone ever think Uber? Anyone ever think Uber would work? I don't have a car, but I can afford a taxi. But let me call a man who have a car, but you drive your car. You know what I mean? And me let a man sleep in my house. Airbnb, boy. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me how that shit works. But if you don't, and again, you don't have to do it. But you have to at least give it its nod and be like, "Yo, more power to you, man." Like, I'm not a believer in hater, because I think if you hate on anything, then it stops the natural progression of fucking anything, and that's how fucking blood clots get and your arm chop off.
So do you think
You have
there's
to
a
retire like Chris Bosh?
do you think there's a difference between writing like a stand-up stand-up versus writing a sketch?
Yes.
So what's the difference between those?
It's just everything, like timing, rhythm. If you're writing a sketch, there's a limited, you know what I mean? But whereas I find what I love about stand-up is you can put more into it. You can put more inflections into it. You can put more visuals into it. You can put more sound effects, more action. Whereas,
Would you say it's just a difference in when you can do those things? For like in a skit, you can like improv within the skit, or you get what I'm saying?
but it
Whereas
has to be
comedy,
it has
you
to be
have
within context of whatever the skit is.
Right,
You know what I mean? Whereas if I'm if I'm doing stand up, I can literally go anywhere and come right back. I don't have to just stay.
Like you can change. You can go to story.
When I did the sketch with Junior about renting the apartment, you can improv that shit, but it has to be within context of renting an apartment. I can't just start talking about fucking sneakers.
And this is what I tell people, fam. Like some people just try to do skits and just run the skit.
No,
and
man.
I get that, but you gotta literally like
Have some
an
structure.
idea.
Have some structure.
Like
Have-
some blueprint.
I'm not saying you have to have like verbatim
so
A,
what's
B,
that
C, and D.
blueprint? Can you give us like
I
a
don't know.
5-step?
I don't know what the blueprint is because everybody's got a different style, just like comedy, right?
But what's
Like,
your John Paul style?
my style, I like shit. I like strippiness. You know what I mean? So it's like, let's take an inane, let's take a basic concept and just act the fool and be ridiculous. And then you can tie it in at the end. So it's like writing it sounds fucked up, but it's like writing an essay. You know what I mean? So here's the premise, here's the work, and here's the conclusion.
All right. So no, there's a process,
Yo,
bro.
somebody's gonna see this interview and become the next fucking Jim Carrey because you just fucking gave away.
Yeah,
that.
yo,
But
you
that's
talking to
what
me
it
like
boils
a
down
fourth
to.
grade teacher.
And comedy in threes. Comedy works in threes. So again, you have the premise, the setup, and the punchline. And that's it. That's all you need.
So
Premise,
topic
setup,
sentence, the
Yeah.
body, and the closing sentence.
Correct.
All right. So
Absolutely
there you go.
correct.
Okay.
And you know how else? You know what else works with that? Science. And that's how experiments work.
But would you say comedy is not the science of laughter?
It's the science of humor. And again, there's a formula to it. It's tragedy plus time. So that's why I never understand why people say too soon, man, too soon. It's never fucking too soon. It's tragedy plus time. Why do you think
Yo,
that
that's
fucking...
why those Diddy memes went so hard.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the tape came out, the memes were just like.
I want people, but that's my favorite. I don't want to hear about this shit 3 months from now. He's like, I had time to process it. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Let's process this shit now, because this shit ain't gonna be funny in 3 months.
It's gonna be crazy. Different. It's gonna be sad. It's gonna be heartbroken. Now Diddy looks crazier and crazier every time people talk about it. Like,
That shit cracks me up, by the way. But anyway, I won't get into that. No joke.
Why do you think society is so scared of comedy?
Because they're scared of the truth, and they realize that the power of comedy has always been to be able to mirror or turn the mirror on society and comedically let motherfuckers know you guys are fucking up, or this is fucked up, or this needs to be changed. And we've always been the unofficial voice of the people. And again, when you look at the history of what comedy is, what do you think the jester is? Like, the jester would come in, like the king would be like, bring in the juggler. And the juggler would come in and he would drop some shit. And then the king would be like, cut this nigga's head off. And then the jester would come in and the jester would tell the king about himself and how he was running the kingdom. And just, I love this guy. And not realizing that he's
making fun of him and talking shit to him.
But that's what the beauty of comedy has always been. Comedy, at the essence of everything, is always funniest when it's true. Always.
Did you ever run into Chappelle when he was in Toronto?
Yes, I did.
What was that experience like?
Dude,
Speaking of the truth,
so
like,
he
guy,
he was here. What were they filming?
90s,
Half Baked. They were
90s,
filming
like,
Half Baked.
Oh, that was filmed here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He spent a lot of time in Toronto.
Yeah, it was one of my
And he
favorite-
did, like, Just for Laughs and all those.
I know he did that. I seen
Did
that
you do
growing
Just
up
for
for
Laughs
sure.
as well, or?
I've done Just Last many a time.
Okay.
So my
This
favorite
guy's a
thing.
guy,
These guys have been
you know,
everywhere. It's
my
like
favorite-
Comedy Central. Like,
My
all
favorite
over
thing
people.
Chappelle's ever said to me is, you say nigga more than I do, nigga. So that was my favorite thing. But great guy. So he did, I remember hanging out backstage when he did Massey Hall. And one of the dopest things, you think he would just be talking shit the entire time. And he just sat down at a piano, just chilling, played fucking Thelonious Monk. And it's like, you wouldn't even think that this dude knows how to fucking play the piano and like
That's
jazz
crazy.
and Thelonious Monk of all fucking things. You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
So
weed,
if it's
so,
one thing I love about comedians is when comedians aren't trying to outdo each other with jokes, like some of the dopest, smartest, realest conversations, but hilarious because we don't filter ourselves around each other. Yeah, I mean,
But I think too, in order to be like funny, you got to be smart. You got to have a high level of intelligence that looks at things from an angle that's.
but
like,
the crazy part is no one truly ever really acknowledges the intelligence that goes on. They think it's just
you have to be so
like
smart.
even the term
Like,
class
the idea-
clown. I
hold
think
on,
is
hold on. And let's bring it back to Eddie, the bear and the rabbit in the woods. That is the, like, if you break that down, that's one of the funniest jokes ever.
And it's so basic.
It's like 11 words long
It's
sentence.
so basic.
So basic.
Hey.
And you made a whole crowd erupt into fucking tears.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
you have to be a genius to do that, bro.
No,
And
for
if
sure.
no one,
You
and
can't
if
just be
no one
a
has
regular
ever
person.
heard the joke before, it's
No
big.
one's ever heard it. No one ever like
But
even
again,
thought of that.
for all the young people out there who've
Tell
never
the
heard
joke,
the
tell
joke
the joke,
before,
man.
basically a bear and a rabbit are taking a shit in the woods. And the bear turns to the rabbit and goes, "Hey, do you have a problem with shit sticking to your fur?" And the rabbit goes, so the bear takes the rabbit and wipes his ass.
Fam, how many letters is that? How many words? How many words is that?
It's like
It's
nothing.
like 20 words. Look at the room.
Everyone's
20
dying.
words.
Crazy.
You have to be like, not even rappers can do that to you, bro.
No, for sure.
And the good rappers can catch you in the first three
Correct.
words they say.
That's why I love
It was all a dream.
Yeah,
If
but
you
some
can
of my
do that,
favorite
you win the
rappers,
game, you
some
know?
of my favorite rappers have comedic bars, man.
No, they're the funniest too,
Fucking
though.
Redman, Ludacris, those dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
Redman, I think is probably one of the most underrated rappers I've ever.
No, he's funny as
I
hell.
feel
I
like
fucking love it.
there's like a
And
lot of rappers
no
like
filter,
that.
no filter. He says some of the fucking
Ratchet
Crazy
filthy
shit.
ratchet
Love it,
shit,
and,
yeah,
but
bro.
that's what I
Him.
love about it.
Ludacris was definitely like that.
Yeah.
I feel like 2 Chainz is
Even
on that
Jay-Z a
level.
little bit.
Yeah.
No, I
Jay-Z,
don't.
no, Jay-Z's the rich guy funny, like,
Yeah.
you got a 4.0, I got a 5.6, bitch.
Yeah, that's what- that was his
What's the
funny.
difference between
Yeah. He had the
50,000
humor,
cocksucker
too.
beat it?
He
Yeah.
made you want to elevate because if you got made fun of like that, you feel like shit, you know? Like,
Yeah, but
no.
people are scared because nobody, just back to what you were saying is everybody wants to be the same and nobody wants to stand out.
Yeah.
So because they feel like
standouts
they
mean
feel
you're
like if
scrutinized.
they actually stand out, that somehow it means that it's going to call attention to themselves. And it's like, fuck it. I remember back in the day, you wanted to be an individual, but nowadays everybody wants to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
Differences between a Canadian comedian and an American comedian, the problems you face. You know, what are the things you go through as a Canadian comedian trying to break into
I think the biggest thing is there is no star system in Canada, whereas in the States or in the United States, the talent is the commodity. Here, we're not necessarily. It's not that we're not a commodity here. It's the people who control the decisions because there's so little spaces. So it's a numbers game here. So it's like, you're not going to get this festival because there's only 15 spots and there's like 300 of you guys. So the people who call the shots and who gatekeep, they're the real celebrities. They're not supposed to be, but they're the celebrities because they hold the fucking power. Whereas in the States,
corny, man.
correct, it's super corny. Where in the US, the talent is the one who gets the fucking
Dictates. Like,
you know
if
what I
you're
mean?
the hottest person, if you're the hottest comedian right
like
now,
five
you're
The
gonna
hottest
get
manager.
comedian, if the
Yeah,
best
that's
athlete, the fucking.
You know what? I definitely agree with this. It goes across all. It goes across
No
all
one's ever
levels.
brought
Doesn't
that up
matter.
on our show, and
But
we've
that's
asked this
definitely
question
right.
in a lot of different ways. You know,
But
like,
here in Canada, the gatekeepers and the people who
That's fucked up.
green light shit, they're the
The ones that call like, yeah, you're playing on your sport, your sports in your high school. Like, what? That guy sucks. Yeah, but his mom is so and so.
Correct.
Like, oh,
Absolutely
okay.
correct.
That's like, oh, okay. But he sucks. Yo, his mom.
But
Okay,
we're
okay.
also in this country, we're socialists, and so we care about people. And
Yeah.
in the
No, we
U.S.,
don't.
in
That's a
U.S.,
lie.
they're capitalists. They're money first. Yeah, I mean, money
I think
talks, bullshit works.
Canada's just that they say that shit just to fucking run over the fact that they're gonna help others and not help the rest.
Pretty
Keep it
much.
real. Keep it
feel
real.
you.
Because at the end of the day, how many times have you heard that story? Where, oh, Johnny's mom's the fucking,
Yeah.
you know, governor of the fucking.
And nobody wants to rock the boat, so you just
And
go,
then all of a
you
sudden,
just-
Johnny's playing AAA hockey, but man hasn't played. Man sucks. You're like,
If this
bro,
was the States,
How
it'd be
goes?
fight the power.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But in Canada, we're like, sorry. Like, sorry you made it over me. I'm
Just the
sorry
way
you beat me.
It's how
Like,
it goes. It's just how it goes.
Definitely.
that's fucked up, man. Okay, so I wanted to play this word association game when it comes to comedy, and
I want to go.
want-
For, the first one is
yeah.
So what
Can-
do I just say? Do I just one word answer? What is it?
No, just go in.
go. Yo, however
Like,
you feel,
is
talk
worth
about it.
Is it ruining? Is
Whatever
it-
you
know what I
think.
mean?
Okay.
So the first one is Canada is the 51st state.
Fuck Trump. Fuck all them motherfuckers when it comes to that shit. Because if it's one thing I love about this country is, again, I'm going from a Toronto perspective and POV, and I'm glad that this is where my parents chose to fucking be, and I wouldn't want to change that because it would change the entire culture of how we demands them, the gal them, how
I
we
kind of
think.
like Trump, and I'm gonna tell you why. And don't get mad.
Brits.
Don't get mad. Don't get mad. I'm
I'm
gonna tell
not-
you why I like him. I'm just gonna tell you why I like him. He's exposing everything that's fucked up about America.
You mean America?
Yeah, he's exposing every last red fucked up thing about that country, and we've been under a guise of like it being something and them not doing these things behind the scenes. But whatever
what-
Trump is what America
Name something
really
he's
is.
exposing. And again, I'm not anti-Trump.
Just the way he is as a person,
I just think
that has been the outlook of the American government forever.
I think Trump is just exactly what is all that is wrong with America, and he is.
But that's what I'm saying.
He is the personification of what America is.
Exactly.
He's selfish. He's stupid.
Boom. He's exposing everything
Powerful,
that America is.
like-
American government, he's just like, this is what we really are.
But he's running it like a business, and he's not a career.
Is America not a business though?
It is in every aspect.
But everybody before him ran it like a politician.
No, they didn't.
Who
They
ran
just
it like a
lied
business?
about it.
Who ran it like a business?
They just lied about it.
No, motherfuckers just line their pockets.
But that's like running it, because if I'm
that's
a
not how-
businessman, I'm trying to line my pockets. That's a business. I'm gonna say, yo, I'm gonna make this work
You're trying
for
to
me.
line your business, but you're trying to grow your fucking business. America never tried to grow its fucking business.
No, America did try to grow its business in a lot of ways. Cocaine.
hundreds of proxy wars. Like,
That's not just them, though. You're not really growing it.
what about proxy? What about the proxy
The drug
wars?
trade was built by George Bush.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so come
But what
on.
about- okay,
He
so,
worked for
alright.
the CIA and Bush worked.
You don't believe in the expansion?
We went too far.
No, but he's saying they don't expand. But like, think about like all the different wars they've had over the years. Like they're going to Iraq,
Money,
they're going to
man.
Afghanistan. They're putting the political
business.
figures. It's all
Oh,
the
yeah.
same thing. It's the same thing.
It's to sell arms.
Right?
It's
Sell
to sell-
arms,
it's to sell-
have
And where do the
influence.
best guns in the world come from?
America, man, that's what they do. They expand. So it's always the same. It just looks different now. Now it's just raw.
I guess.
It's like, yeah, I don't give a
Okay,
fuck.
next word.
Bring takes.
Stereotypes in comedy. Is this a good thing, bad thing?
Stereotypes make me laugh, man. Stereotypes are based on some form of truth. You know what I mean? But you also have to put up with, you can say what you want to say, but we also live in a time where if a motherfucker wants to punch you in the mouth because you're doing a crazy accent, you know, and then some Asian dude comes up and be like, yo, I'm about to fuck you the fuck up. You also got to deal with that. But I've always been a fan of stereotypes because what I think has happened in the last whatever amount of years is woke shit and like that whole cultural appropriation thing. People don't know how to differentiate cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation because my three biggest influences growing up were BruceLee. I wanted to be a fucking Chinese dude.
Oh yeah, I want to be.
Muhammad Ali. I wanted to be
Every
a
young
black
man
American.
wanted to do kung fu at some point.
Yeah,
in life.
exactly.
Yeah, everybody.
But what happens is they'll say you can't do this, you can't do that, and now what happens is because you can't do anything, nobody has any imagination anymore, and you have to.
Say
Like
it
yeah, because
again, fam.
you're seeing it like
Siri,
You don't.
show me an imagination. Imagination. It's when you use your brain to think of it.
But now
But
it's
nobody has
basically
any
you can't do
imagination.
anything, so you're
Correct.
just limited to whatever the image you
Correct.
see in the mirror is all you can be.
You're limited to whatever you think isn't going to piss society off.
Yeah.
And true art should cause some kind of fucking conflict
Yeah.
and confrontation.
Next word.
That's
next.
what it should be.
Next word.
It's right here, man. Number
Sorry.
7.
sorry.
We'll edit that out.
Don't worry. All right.
Maybe not.
Excessive slapstick comedy.
Again, I like all forms of comedy. I always have. So,
But like the excessive slapstick.
but I don't know what excessive is.
Ooh.
I don't know what excessive slapstick is.
Okay.
Like the basis of it is slapstick. Like I love stupid shit, but it's got to be in the right. I don't want to say it's got to be in the right context.
So
'cause
who would be a person that does slapstick good, and who's someone who does it terribly wrong?
niggas who ain't funny, who do it just. You know what? Okay, here's what it is. Motherfuckers that use it to just for attention. Like, you know, you're just hanging out all of a sudden and you're at the bar and everybody's talking, you're talking to a nice thing and stuff, and then this guy walks up to the bar and he grabs your drink and
Yeah.
what the
Like
fuck is this dude? As opposed to someone who, within context of the conversation, you know what I mean?
runs a joke.
Runs the joke. As opposed to just doing like people who just walk up to people to do pranks and shit like that. Yo, done that shit, man. Done that shit because
It's not good.
it's overdone and if you're not willing to it's just a prank, it's just a prank, it's just a prank. If you can't take your fucking ass whooping, then it's not just a prank. That
Yeah,
shit you're
I
just
don't like
doing
You
that.
gotta take the KO after, and it makes it even more funny.
Personally, I don't like I don't like when people do shit like that. Like I think you can run pranks on people as long as it doesn't fuck up their day or doesn't
Correct.
make people feel like fucked up. Like I like seeing pranks and shit, but when it's a man like I remember there was this guy tried to pull up a man's pants. And the man pull up the gun on him. I'm like, bro, if that was me, I'd have probably blamed you too.
Dude,
why are you
that
touching my backside, bro?
That
That's
is
gay.
exactly why there are 0 prank shows in Jamaica. 0 prank shows in Jamaica. The prank show in Jamaica would literally be called "I Want a Blood Clot."
Yeah.
I want a
It'd
blood
have been
clot.
called
Didn't do it.
bloodshot. So that's what it'd be called. You're waiting for the shot to come out.
Every scene at the end. It wouldn't be the TikTok sound. It's be the pow at the end, the gunshot ending the scene.
That was our first and last episode.
Credits just running through like this one man.
Oh
Like
man, I'm hurt right now. I'm hurt. Okay. The preachiness in comedy.
Preaching is I like if there's conviction behind it. But if you're just preaching again to preach to impress people, what's
Do you
the
think
fucking?
Cat Williams is too preachy?
I think Cat is just so smart that he just doesn't know what to do with his intelligence.
And he just feels the need to explain to people.
Yeah, like, but I
Sounds
think
just like him.
I think Cat is literally probably one of the best storytellers comedically I've ever seen in my entire life. I just think he's got so much information in his head that it's hard to when you're potentially smarter than a lot of people that you actually speak to, it's hard to synthesize that shit so that other people can understand that as well. And I think that's the problem sometimes in what it
He has
is.
to
And I
dumb it
think
down.
he also has a kind of self-righteous syndrome.
And because I wouldn't do that, and Diddy don't go to the.
You know, so it's like, but don't act like you're in the entertainment business and fucked up shit doesn't happen. Like that's why I got into this business, so I don't have to have a regular 9 to 5.
All right, man. Last word.
It's reliance on shock value. Like people that always have to do something super exciting or over the top to get a laugh or anything. Some type of like on social media.
Then you're not funny. That's not comedy. That's attention grabbing, and you probably needed.
You probably needed to get more hugs.
You probably just needed more love as a child, and
Some
you need
trauma
that
issues
attention.
right there.
Yeah, I mean, so I think you need to check yourself if that's what you think you need to do to get the attention that you think you deserve. And when you really should do is read a book and fucking be able to create comedy, as opposed to force it on fucking people. I don't want to be comedically raped by a motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yo, laugh at my jokes. Laugh at my jokes. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's crazy.
Please, please.
Okay. So hipster.
Yes.
Talk about a brand. Explain it to the people.
So the island hipster is a thing where I've become super zen. I've always been an island kid. And thanks to Toronto, shout out to the Six, the Dot, whatever you want to call it. It has allowed me to create and mold this thing. And you're an island hipster, It's someone who's spiritual, intelligent, and just free to express themselves the way that they want to do it. You know what I mean? And the mantra for Island Hipster and Hipstafari, because I'm not a Rastafari, I'm a Hipstafari, is the religion is spread love, walk good, practice happy. And I think that energy carried out through the world is what will ultimately make the world more like the islands that we love, whether it's Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, Antigua, Grenada, Barbados, you too, Guyana, even though
I would say, are they
Even though
are they actually Caribbean? Like they're like
they're Caribbean because of their history.
all right,
And I'm not,
all right.
and I'm
They're,
not saying
they're Caribbean because of the slave trade.
yes, and I'm not saying that in any kind of way to make Guyana feel their history was sconced by, you know what I mean, like they, but no,
But like
they're-
technically,
they're
like
proper.
geographically,
if you want to be like that, but you know,
Okay, so
they're
I want you
Caribbean.
to stunt
They're Caribbean.
for like a minute. Name some of the things that you've been a part of. You know.
Ooh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Some of the things that I've done in my entire life that I'm super proud of. One of the things I'm most proud of that was hardly seen by anybody, and I wish. So we were in a competition for a Teletoon. We had to create a animated pilot, and I was part of the writing team, and I did the voice and helped create a show called Ninja Jamaica. And it was basically an animated version of a Jason Bourne style hero that was a Rasta. Yeah.
okay.
Some of the dopest, and it was almost like early anime style, Japanese style kind of like animation.
You know that would have run the hood,
Bro.
Right now, that would be booming. That boom.
And the music that we had in it was so fucking dupe. So basically, Ninja Maker was like Jason Bourne, a kind of rogue assassin, and then he wakes up, and then Kenny Robinson was the big boss at the head office, and
This is mad.
and he sent out all these other assassins to go and kill Ninja Maker. And he played in a reggae band, which was his fucking cover.
Okay, this is sick. This is sick, bro.
Like the big.
Why did they say no?
Like the big tune was called
That's
"What
crazy.
What the Bomba," which is still one of my favorites. What the Bomba? Like he's talking. He wakes up on a whaling ship. He doesn't really remember shit. What the Bomba? Like it was. So that was probably one of my favorite fucking things that never got picked up, and I'm still mad to this day, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get the rights and buy the rights to
Oh,
be able to
shit.
try to
Somebody
create it
might see
myself.
this and you know what I mean?
Also,
crazy.
I wrote for Trey Anthony had a hit show called The Kink in My Hair, which was which was a huge stage play. I wrote for that on global television. Was nominated for awards. I've done Just for Laughs Gala, which is a huge thing. When you do the Just for Laughs television taping, you're pretty much like a
Channel 44. I remember those. I
you're
seen
like
you
a
on
made
that.
man. They say you're like a made man because not everybody gets a fucking gala. Performed for a month in Durban, South Africa at the Durban Opera House with Russell Peters, and was some of the dopest fucking shit that I got to do in my entire life. Done roast battles. I taped Kevin Hart's LOL Network. I did a fucking comedy thing for that. Just been around the world and
It's a little light stunt.
No. Chill out your bicep. Your bicep. I see it. Just relax there, bro. Relax about that.
I've done a lot. So if it's one thing people can't fucking front on me is my resume. My resume is fucking proper deep, and people are like, "How come you're not like?" And it's like, because I don't need to be, man. And my life
gotta be
is
John Paul, bro.
fucking good.
Finish this line. You never run after a...
Gyal or a bus. Because if you miss either of them, you just end up looking stupid.
I like that one still. I like that one.
That's real game. Right there.
There's always the next one that's coming by. Just check the schedule. Just check the schedule.
All right, man. So, what are the future plans?
Future plan is I'm dropping a podcast called The Stand Up Sit Down. You guys could check that on YouTube. It comes out in March, and it's just where I want to have dope ass conversations with people that I've come into contact with over my life. And like I said, I just really enjoy fucking conversations. There's gonna be comedians on it. There's gonna be people. My girl, the meditation pusher. My boy Muhammad from Freetown Collective is going to be on it. Dina Pugliese, who was the queen of morning tea. So it's an eclectic mix of people that I've come across in my entire life, and that's just the beauty of life is connection. And also just look out for me fucking doing the thing and making
You going on
comedy.
tour? Any stand-up shows coming up soon? Anything like that?
What you could look out for is I started a series last year when I brought on my boy Junior Lee called Red, White, and Laugh. And Red, White, and Laugh is basically me reaching back to my comedic brethren and sistren of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Trinbagonian comedic roots. And I want to give them the profile because people don't necessarily know how funny the country is, and I want to be the guy that has that legacy. And I have a comedic documentary coming out that you guys will have to wait and check that out when I drop it.
Dope. I want to see this, bro.
Okay, so shout out your Instagram where people
All
can
that
find
shit,
you.
yeah,
You
man.
can check me at bigdicknigga. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, whoa.
Why for that? Yo? Why?
I was like, whoa, what happened?
Why?
You can check me at Jean Paul Comedy. That's pretty much on everything, on X, on Instagram, and yeah, man, just Jean Paul Comedy, JeanPaul, and yeah, man,
Yo,
I
what a
appreciate you
fucking-
guys. I
yo.
appreciate you guys for reminding people that history comes from somewhere, and if you don't know your history, then you don't know your fucking future.
Future, that's
I'm
for
telling you,
sure, man.
Thanks
That's
to you
definitely for
guys
sure, bro.
for bridging the fucking gap, and yeah, man, I hope to come back and chop some shit up. And
Oh, we do got one more question
you
for
gotta
you.
help me get tricks on. It's real shit.
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, but hold up. We gotta ask them. We gotta ask the most
Oh,
important
yeah,
question.
sorry. You tell it. Yeah,
Most important question is, as on this show, is we'd like to ask, when do you wear your mask? Do you wear your mask while you're doing comedy? Do you wear your mask while you're doing it at home? When do you wear your mask, and what does that look like?
It's funny you say that. So, my boy and I, we have this thing. We call it the Iron Man mask.
Okay.
You know how like when Iron Man hits the thing and so that's what we do. But I do that in public. I do that in public. You know.
Really? Why public specifically?
I do it in public because I'm what you call introverted extrovert.
Oh.
And people think because I'm on stage and think, but here's the fucking craziest thing. On stage for the first few years, I never looked at anyone's faces. I would just
look at the
I'd
light.
look at their forehead and above, so it would look like I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not great at eye contact. I'm not good at any of that thing because I don't
That's why you feel so comfortable here.
Yeah, it's correct.
I'm not looking at anybody.
Correct.
You can't see no face.
I have this belief, and I read a book, Salem's Lot, by Stephen King years ago, and one of the rules I had learned about vampires is vampires can't come into your house if you don't invite them in. And I'm a huge protector of my energy, and I don't want to invite people in to pillage my energy because I don't have extra energy to waste on people that, one, don't give a fuck about me, probably trying to hurt me, and I'd rather save and hold that energy for the people that I love. My wife, my kids, my dog, my family, my brethrens, my sisterins, my country, and everybody else. No disrespect. I just don't have the energy source to be able to fake it, and so that you could fuck me over.
I like that, yo. That's dope.
Don't.
Definitely one of my favorite explanations of the mask.
That's a real Trini man.
Yeah, right?
I's a man who don't really fucking take on them men and thing, you know what I mean? I's a man like to fucking catch up home and eat a little fucking roti and a little fucking doubles, you know what I mean?
Yo,
You
Mr.
bust up
Let's
on-
Party.
You already know, Mr.
OG
John Paul.
MacG. Like and subscribe, Balaclava Diaries. We out.
Badang.
Bam, bam.
Hey, yo.